we're going to travel to America's heartland and bring you a look for the first time this season to the Super Farm. This tractor class is incredible, highly competitive. It's Super Farms from Rockwell, Iowa, coming up. NTPA Championship pulling coming to you from Rockwell, Iowa. America's breadbasket here. Greg Randall is standing by with the chat as we kick things off on this program.
Thanks, Doc. Tonight it's Super Farm action. This is Brad Hart's Don't Ask, Case IH, and don't ask because he pulls with red and he farms with maybe a different color. But tonight, the Super Farm class starting to heat up in the Grand National Points race. This guy here, along with a lot of other entries, want to take home number one at the Northern Iowa Nationals here, presented by Graham Tire.
You know, Greg, we're going to see an awful lot of color here. A lot of guys will farm with one, pull with another. And if you want it, you come up with a trick name, or you can just call it like Dustin Platt has done, just a gray area on his John Deere 8360.
Well, you know, with 640 cubic inches and the 3-in, 3-out Chargers, they do get a little creative, and sometimes tech services have to wonder if that is within a gray area or legal limits. So, yes, interesting names here in their Super Farm class.
Appreciate the name of gray area because Dustin is a mechanical engineer. 302 and 3 the distance there.
We'll open up our competition here, take that run, so we're underway.
You know, a lot of guys take pride in their vehicle, and many of them will tell you fear the deer, but this guy means it here out of Boone, Iowa, on a John Deere 8110 Wayne Lamore.
Yeah, he's a grocery store manager. He's been pulling for 19 years, and wife Martha and 4 children. A veteran of the sport and a mainstay in the Super Farm class. He's been in it a long time, runs a lot of Region 5, which is Iowa.
He'll build the boost and get set to turn it loose. Is this class? Well, this distance, 302 and 6.
Yeah, it's 0.3 of a foot farther than gray area, so it takes the lead. This class is noted for its tight competition. The limitations really kind of dictate that.
Well, and a lot of it becomes your experience behind the wheel, like this guy, 27 plus years, and he's out of Fairgrove, Michigan. This is the Press On International 1066. Lee Butts has the ride.
Yeah, wife Connie and has got 3 grown kids. Third currently in our Grand National point standings, and Lee's usually one of the first ones to get to the venue. He enjoys his retired life.
And for the Michigander there in Press On, 282 and 8.
And comes up a little bit short of our leader, Wayne, in Fear the Deer.
We're here in Rockwell, Iowa, and these guys really having to test the soil here as they can get the right hook. But again, a very, very tight class, very, very close. Ryan Anderson is next to come play out of Illinois. He's got the checking out.
And there's a theme tonight about names, Doc.
Yeah.
Checking out. Ryan is a funeral home director as well as a farmer. So
kind of the final checking out there, too, not like at a grocery store.
He's the last one to let you down.
Yep.
And 11 years behind the wheel, wife Megan, daughter Faith, currently 9 in our point standings. Rookie year on the full tour.
he'll make his presence known there. 3:23 and 2.
He takes the lead with authority. And Doc, what I like about that machine, I like the front tire fenders.
Yep,
Don't see that very often.
Yeah, you don't see it often. I was going to say that you get to these kind of old school looking internationals, they really have a nice clean look to them, and that's kind of the mainstay of this entire Super Farm class. Jeff Martin on the way next, the Hustler International 766.
Out of Wisconsin, Jeff's a mechanic. He's been pulling for 42 years. Wife Jane, Amanda, and granddaughter Haley finished 4th in 2018 Region 3 points. Got a 2nd in Anoka, Minnesota. So a lot of experience here with the Hustler. A 766. You don't see too many of those out on the circuit. Old school, as you were speaking about.
Gets to that top end, a little white smoke there, and 3:03 and 6.
Jeff will take over the number 2 spot here in our Super Farm standings. Ryan Anderson with checking out continues to lead our class.
Well, most of these guys are from the upper Midwest, the Plain States here in our Super Farm class, but this team hails from Manchester, Tennessee. It's Deer Tracks, John Deere 4430, and Greg Fries.
That's just a bit southeast of Nashville. Greg's a farmer, pulling for 45 years. And currently 8th in our point standings. You know, earlier in the year we were over in Hoopeston, Illinois, which is Ryan Anderson's hometown, with the Grand National Super Farm class, and that's really the point tally thus far. So we're early in our Super Farm point season, and
and he gets snuffed out at the top end, 3:14 to 3. Good hook there by that Tennessee puller.
And just like that, we have Freeze taking over the number 2 spot from Jeff Martin. Checking out, remains atop our leaderboard.
We'll have more from Rockwell, Iowa. Coming up, stay with us here on RFD TV.
NDVA Championship Bowling is presented by Case IH. Be ready with Case IH. And by O'Reilly Auto Parts, Alliance Tire Group, Mack Trailers, Senpico Lubricants, Shell Rotella, and by Enderle Fuel Injection.
We are Super Farm Pulling here on NTPA Championship Pulling, presented by Case IH. And here comes, we're going to unleash the Rhino. Brian Jensen out of Osage, Iowa, an International 966.
Release the Rhino. Ryan's a farmer, 16 years behind the wheel. Wife Kelsey, and he's got 3 sons at home. Well, 3 children at home. Finished 5th in the 2018 Region 5 points. Got a 2nd last year in Waverly, Iowa.
Wow, he's right down there past 300 feet at 3:02 even.
Yeah, Jensen makes it 3 competitors who are hovering around the 3:02 mark. All 3 are around 6 inches of each other. Close competition here in Rockwell.
Absolutely, and if you look at this, next up is the Nuts team, the Assorted Nuts out of Addison, Michigan, a Case International 2294. Brooke Ferris behind the wheel, and usually these guys are the people that you go, this is the guy that's going to take it right to first place, but they've kind of had their issues this year.
Yeah, sure have. This tractor is currently 7th place in the Grand National points, and you know, with Absolutely Nuts coming later, Assorted Nuts, I just wonder when they're going to bring out Roasted Nuts. Occupation for Brooke Ferris, he's the owner of Milk Transportation Company, 12 years.
Pretty good looking pass, but again, they kind of get snuffed out at the end, 291 and 6. Not characteristic of these guys usually.
Yeah, not at all. The Ferris team will have another shot at it later in the class. Ryan Anderson leads the way with a 3:23 and 2.
That'll bring up the Binder Express out of Manchester, Iowa. 10:66 for you international fans. Dan Schulte behind the wheel.
If you ever go to the Toma Kids Club, Dan is over there helping out, signing autographs and so forth with the Rink Seeds sponsorship. He's a farmer, 27 years behind the wheel. Wife Deb. Another Region 3/Region 5 polo. Region 3's Wisconsin, Minnesota. Region 5's Iowa and into Missouri.
One of the things you can say about this polo right here, he's usually in the money. His average finish is a little bit better than third place. Well, he's going to have a very, very good effort there at 3:05 and 1.
Yeah, he takes over the third spot. Anderson's mark is looking tougher and tougher to beat out here.
And that will bring up our next competitor, another international, 10:66. And this guy comes to us from the great state of Michigan. John Silsby, the crop doctor.
Yeah, IH 1066, owner of Dove Ag Services, 6 years behind the wheel. Wife Sandy and 5 children. He comes in 6th place in the points, and last year he was 8th in the Grand National Point Scene. He is the president of Wolverine Tractor Pullers and does really a fine job for that association.
What a hook, a hard-working guy that may have taken a little bit different launch point than everyone else. 3:23 and 3.
Yeah, by 3/10 of a foot, John Silsby paved some new real estate on his way to the new leading distance. The crop doctor now leads our Super Farm class.
Well, bring up another green tractor for you. This is the Wolverine Deer out of Allendale, Michigan. It's a John Deere 4430, and this is Tony Sietsema.
Yeah, Tony is, I call him the godfather of Super Farm pulling in Region 2, which is Ohio, Michigan, Indiana. He was around when it first started, when we just had a few tractors running it. Second place right now in the Grand National Points, 1 point behind Absolutely Nuts of the Ferris team. His wife Linda and a couple girls, daughters, flowering plant manager. It's a beautiful location if you ever get up there in Allendale area.
And the Wolverine Deer not cooperating at all, 287 and 5.
Yeah, that's surprising there for Tony. Usually you see that tractor get well down. He puts his hands up like, what's going on? Obviously something they're not right in the Wolverine Deer engine.
Yeah, that may have taken him by surprise just a little bit. Here comes the Super Hick, a Massey Ferguson 8160 out of Floyd Knobs, Indiana, Dave Batliner.
Yeah, you always like to see something a little different, and when Batliners bring out this slick-looking MF 8160, it looks really good. He's a plastics executive. He's been pulling for 30 years. Wife Betty, 10th place right now, but I'm sure they'll probably improve on that. Just a clean appearing. I don't know if you'll see a cleaner tractor than the Super Hick out on the circuit.
And he'll put that Massey down right about 309 and 1.
Lumber's out to 4th place currently with that run. Crop Doctor checking out, and Deer Tracks round out our top 3. 2 red and a green one thus far in our top 3 leaderboard.
Well, we've still got plenty of color left in this class, and we'll go back to green right here. Tommy Platt out of Hubbard, Iowa, the turboed up John Deere 8520.
Tommy's a college student, systems management student, 4 years behind the wheel. He's single, and last year he came here to Rockwell, finished outside the top 10 both times, but got a 6th in Waverly last year. Turbo up the farm boy way.
found the key to a lot of wheel speed, but that doesn't necessarily equal distance. 287 even.
Good effort, but comes up short of the top leaderboard. John Silsby looks to be large and in charge. Several competitors back there in the wings, though.
Well, bring you another one of the Nuts teams, the Absolutely Nuts. Addison, Michigan, Case International, 7220, Brady Ferris.
This is the current early points leader. He's got a 1 point over the Wolverine Deer, who obviously we saw him have a little technical problems. Brady's a truck driver hauling milk for dairy farmers, 8 years in the seat. He's single. Third in last year's Grand National Points Challenge, so...
But that 1 point lead, he could really shake things up, make himself a little bit of pad, a little cushion. We'll see what happens here. 3:23 and 3. Nice hook there, and he may be out there. No, 3:23 and 2, Greg.
Yeah, and that's a .205. That's good enough for third place. Ryan Anderson has a 3:23.290. 85 hundredths of a foot better. Top three are within less than 4 inches of each other. We'll see if we can get a few more close here at the North Iowa Nationals presented by Graham Tire.
Welcome back to Rockwell, Iowa. Here, you can keep up to date at facebook.com/NTPA polling. Keep up to date with all things NTPA. We are in our Super Farm class right here, and this is a great spirited battle. Great track here. Good opportunity for guys to kind of help themselves in the points, and we feature this tractor at the very top. This is the Don't Ask ride. Brad Hart behind the wheel.
Yeah, Clayton, Michigan is his home. Farmer plus dairy business, 15 years. Wife Tracy, 2 sons, Chad and Nick. 5th place in the points. Last year he finished 9th in the Grand National Points. He was up there in the top 3 and then had a little damage and missed an event toward the end.
He's got to feel good about that effort there. Nice hook at 3:21 and 1.
He takes over 4th position. There's a log jam of red ones up in the top 4. Deer Tracks remains in 5th spot.
And our next competitor coming up here from the great state of Nebraska, Windside, Nebraska, the Dream On Case International 7240, Ron Deck. And he has had one of those situations in Nebraska where they've had so much rain, he's not been able to get out and play very much in the Super Farm class, at least not on a national level. But good to see him here. He's got a rich history in the sport.
Yeah, he's a former Grand National champion, and he's a farmer, 19 years of pulling. And Brian, his son, also pulls. He's got a couple daughters.
And he's going to insert himself in the top leaderboard, 3:20.4.
Yeah, and that's the 5th one that is red in the top 5. Takes over the 5th place from the Freeze family, as we have one left.
Didn't we start with an awful lot of green? We're ending up all red here just by the luck of the draw. And then we'll kind of go to a black tractor that's got a green heritage. It's a John Deere 6030. It's the Black Power out of Attica, Ohio. Chris Whittaker.
Yeah, it's the Whittaker's salute to Johnny Cash. And Chris is supervisor at Pepperidge Farms and also is a farmer. Currently 4th in the points. Opened up the year at Hoopston, Illinois. Finished 6th in last year Grand National Points title. He was 31 points out of the lead, so had his first Grand National win in Hudsonville, Michigan, a year ago. Our final competitor here, will John Silsby hold on to the lead?
Wow, he's got a measurable distance there, and immediately he says, I need a hook off the track, so he is not even going to put it underneath full power. A measurable distance of 2.7, so probably a little something there as he'll take a look to try to diagnose the problem and come back and pull another day on the Grand National Tour. Congratulations to the Crop Doctor who picks up a win, and I tell you what, a very, very competitive Super Farm class. Greg Randall is standing by in victory lane with a very happy man from Michigan, the Crop Doctor. Greg?
Thanks, Doc. I'm here at the Case IH Winner's Circle with John Silsby. And John, last year you were second place here at the North Iowa Nationals. Congratulations. You wrestled #1 away from the rest of the pack. Congratulations.
Thank you, Greg.
Tell me a little bit about the track. You know, it seemed like a lot of them were maybe having a tall gear. You came out there and laid down a really picture-perfect pass.
Well, we just kind of recognized that a few of them were struggling a little bit, and it is a tight track. You want to load your wagon.
I'm sure there's some people you'd like to thank to get you in victory lane tonight.
Oh, gosh, yes. You know, I've had a tough week personally, and I can't just Ferris's and Brad Hart and Tony and all the pullers that I normally hang around with. They just have stumbled over themselves to help me get here and pull, and I just can't thank them enough. It's a different arm of my family, but what a great bunch of people.
We'll see you next week on NTPA Championship Pulling, presented by Case IH.